So, welcome. Now, you may notice on the screen there appear to be two of me. Someone has just... Okay, yeah. This is because... Be careful what I press. I've had a special request. I've had a request to introduce to you my support team. So as I need to move around the room, I have a second camera. So here we have Poe and Pumpkin. Pumpkin is Mummy. And over here, sleeping like a baby, because she is my wee little girl. Hello, this is Willow. There we go. Right, I haven't worked out whether that's going to be. Oh, maybe I need to. Right, let's try that again. So someone asked specifically, so here are the girls, Poe in the front. I haven't brought the chickens in, but believe me, having just introduced the dogs, Pumpkin at the back, I am thinking about getting the chickens. And you're right. It's not specifically her teddy bear, but she seems to have adopted it. Oh, come back, sit down. And work out. There we go. Got rid of my other self. Oh, good evening, everybody. What an amazing week it has been together, isn't it? So, for those of you who go looking for the link for last night, there was a little technical problem, and Deanne spotted it, but I didn't understand what she meant by her message last night. So after a few frantic typed messages to Zoom, I think I've made sure the problem isn't going to occur again, but haven't completely got to the bottom of what was going on. Other than I think somehow I may have selected Lisa's screen, which will just appear blank. And so you hear all of the talk, all the conversation from me, and the journey and the gifting of the rights. There was no journey last night, the gifting of the rights. And apart from the little shared screen bits at the end, which you do see, you don't see anything. So apologies if you go looking, and that's what you get. The audio is fine, that's nice and clear. But what's really interesting, if you remember, I was talking about how the creator rights, the Titangis Carpi, we experience them as like a lens or a mirror, and they reflect to us what we create. So once I tried several times, several times to download this video so that I could share it with you. And I thought, or maybe I wait a bit and it will improve, it'll render or something will happen. And it didn't. And I was sort of watching, like in a mirror, watching my process. And I found myself starting to think and to feel, oh no. As Windsor Davis, this is beyond most people's remembering, a bit like Janis Joplin and Grateful Dead and all of these sort of things that I can remember. Windsor Davis was a British actor, I believe. I don't know if he's still here or not, but he had a place, he had a part in a TV comedy called It Ain't Our Hot Mum. And he had this little catchphrase, and I found myself in the same place. And he would go, "Oh dear, how sad. Never mind." But I found myself thinking, because this one recording hadn't recorded the way I wanted it to, that somehow it took the shine and the brilliance and the loveliness of all the other videos. And and it was beautiful, because as soon as I realized that I was doing somewhere in here, in the gray matter or something, I was doing this, I thought, how fantastic. If that hadn't happened, it would have had to have happened somewhere else for me to realize that sometimes in my life, what I create is my own disappointment. And I spread it out a bit like the last bit of butter or margarine. You spread out as far as you can. And I spread out my disappointment to include everything else that we've done. If if in some way the one thing that wasn't quite the way I'd hoped or planned, affected everything else in that way. So that was a gift for me. I don't know if you've been consciously looking at the world around you with new eyes yet or not. I'm mindful there is a message. So I'm just going to pull this up in case someone says, I can't see the screen. Joe, we haven't seen any. Cute. Oh, okay, so you have seen some, I guess. I hope. All right. So we come to the completion of the gifting of the rights. And tonight's call is a sort of celebration to bring it all together with a guided journey and a soul retrieval process that I'm going to guide you through. So hopefully the video will record, but as long as you have the audio, you can learn this journey anytime you want to. And you can journey for soul parts of your own. The one thing I'll say about this is that while yes, absolutely, completely, indeed, you can do this. Sometimes, for the really big pieces in a life, when you've had a big shift, when you've released something, set yourself free, liberated yourself, and I love this phrase, liberating ourselves from the known. Think about it. Liberate yourself from what you know. What we know, all of our beliefs, the sum total of all our beliefs, are what we use to organize our relationship with the reality of our lives. And we believe that everything we know is fact. But sometimes, as I'm going to suggest, sometimes it's not. It's worth wondering. Maybe some of these beliefs are fixed and, in a way, self-limiting. They may give us lots of wriggle room to live within, but they're self-limiting. And if some point in our life we expand to be the greater version of ourselves and reach the edge of the space that these beliefs create, then you have to push against it. It's challenging, but it's beautiful, because then you have to push against your comfort zone, against what you know. So to make it easy, sometimes if we know that we're ready for more, we need more resources, something new within ourselves to take the next step, or the shift within ourselves feels so potentially life-changing that we don't want to limit the potential of change and healing within ourselves, just because we believe that the biggest, happiest, most content, most fulfilled we can be is this much. And in reality, it's way beyond that. The more you are nothing, this is AJ, The more you are nothing, the more you become everything. Yeah, I love that. The more you are nothing, the more you become everything. So sometimes it helps to have someone do the journey for you, because what they bring back may be the peace that you don't imagine you can have. Somewhere in the back of our mind, maybe thoughts like, I don't deserve, I'm not good enough. Like the glass ceiling idea. I could reach for the stars if they were closer. Other people can be more successful. Other people can be happier. You know, it's just our beliefs, and these beliefs create our realities. So sometimes what other people bring back for you is the peace that you need beyond what you can imagine at the moment for yourself. So just a thought with that. So what I thought we would do is to begin with the journey, and then we can just open up all the microphones and any sharing, any questions, anything, you know, in a wonderfully, hopefully disorganized way. So, you know, if everyone talks at once, it gets a little bit, I don't know. We'll see what happens, shall we? Maybe we'll be very British about it and everyone will line up in a queue. I used to work in for a mental health charity in South Wales, and I had lots of different roles. Some of them were managing the teams, and sometimes working directly with people whose the profile, the shape of their mental health made it difficult for them to sustain and manage their accommodation. So they might be homeless, or they might be threatened with homelessness. And there was this one chap. I didn't work with him directly, but I did meet him and do a few things with him a few times. And the lady who supported him said, she said it was what an interesting experience it was on Tuesdays, because on Tuesday, everyone entitled to a state pension in Britain who didn't have a bank account could go with their little book, and they go to the post office and they would queue up, and when it was their turn, they would hand over their book, and the post person would stamp the book on the counterfoil stub and on the big piece of paper, take out the big piece, and then they would give them their money for the week or the 2 weeks. And so part of her support was to go with this chap. They had agreed she would take him in her car to go and get his pension each week. And she said, when they arrived at the post office, now he was a big guy. He had tattoos that looked like Navy tattoos. I don't know if he'd ever been in the Navy. He had a big white beard, so he looked like kind of Captain Birdseye off the telly advert. I don't know, maybe he'd never even been in a rowing boat on a park lake, but he looked this. And you know, he was in his 70s, but he would walk up with her to the post office, and they'd go in the door, and everyone else, all these charming older people, would be queuing up in a nice little line, and this guy would walk in, take a little look, and walk around everyone and go straight to the front of the queue. But he was big, you know, he didn't say anything, didn't threaten anyone, but he was quite a big chap, and everyone kind of leaned back and let him go to the front. I found it inspiring. You know, he sort of went in. I asked him about it once, and he said, well, I go in and have a look, and they all seem to be happy to queue and to wait, and I got things to do. So he just walks to the front of the queue and no one will ever say a thing to him. So how did I get onto that? And going back to one of our first conversations and talking about pressing the record button, and I think I said, maybe I need someone, I need a minder, a helper, a co-host, someone to help me stay on track, just in case, just in case. But there we go. Sometimes these guys come to mind when I work for that mental health charity. So For ancient and indigenous people, the place that they would imagine, visualize going would be to what they thought of as the lower world. And in the Andean tradition, they call this the Uku Pacha. Remember these palindromes? Uku. It's like the same sound, same word going forwards as it is going back. It already speaks to us as being something they thought of as powerful and special, significant. And they imagined this to be an incredibly beautiful place, like a well-kept garden, unspoiled. So it's interesting that in other cultures that have the idea of a middle world, this is everywhere, the ordinary day-to-day, dogs, cats, cameras, chickens, cats, me and you. The middle world of our day-to-day, the lower world, where they would find soul parts and beauty, and the upper world of spirit, heaven, ancestors, Valhalla, depending on your belief system. That's what you're going to find when you go there. Or maybe it'll be a big surprise. Maybe we create it, as on our way there, and it's exactly what we expect. So it's interesting that some traditions, for example, the Judeo-Christian traditions, have evolved a very different story. Maybe there are reasons for this. Maybe the beauty got lost along the way, or perhaps there was some sense of there's something down there to be worried about, or maybe the story just got mistold. I have my thoughts, I'm sure you have yours, but for ancient people, they all thought of it as a restful place where you can go and regenerate. So that's where we're going to go. There is no fire, there is no hell in this journey. There is no brimstone or punishment, just beauty. So, if you would like to make yourselves comfortable, sit back. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I should get my phone back on and thank my co-host for reminding me. Did I mention? Oh no, I think it was in the shaman's call. I'll mention. So the shaman's call is another thing that I do. It's a free call, a Zoom call, usually every 2 months. We had one the end of January, so the next one will probably be in March. And we have different themes each time. Sometimes journeying. I think the next one I'm thinking of talking about the Chicana, the Andean cross, and how it can be a meditative guide. But we were talking about this. I wonder. I'll come back to it at the end when I talk about extra other things, but that's another thing. You just need to send me a message and I'll sign you up for it. It's a free call. So, what it helps to do, because many of us have a much more enhanced kinesthetic sense than we realize, and it needs to be fed in order to have imaginary, visionary type experiences. And so sometimes when we journey, if we're sitting down or lying down, it's lovely to lie down and relax and to do these journeys, but you don't feel so much in your body. And if you have this need, if your body needs to feed the kinesthetic sense in order to experience things that are not 100%, go on down, pumpkin, 100% physical, like journeying, then it helps to stand up. So if you've journeyed before and felt like you haven't had much success, I would suggest you make yourself uncomfortable. stand up. Follow the journey, follow the instructions. Yes, Sophia, that means you too. When I see people smiling in that way, I think, oh yes, you know you should be standing up. But it's the end of the day, especially in Greece it's 2 hours later, in Italy it's an hour later. Everyone's had busy days. You might be tired and you're switching on to Zoom and looking for a nice, relaxing, informative, uplifting, but relaxing experience. So stand up. Yes, I'm going to sit just so that I can be near the microphone and the camera. But I'm quite used to journeying. I do a lot of journeying in my work. Sometimes I do these journeying workshops at festivals. And I always ask at the end, did people find what they were looking for? And even better, if you don't find what you're looking for, but you found something else. And several people one year said, oh no, I didn't see anything at all. So I got them to journey again. And I asked them, were you standing up or lying down? And they were all lying down. And I'm glad I did, because the one chap, he said to me, I journeyed back down with him, sort of individually guided him. And I said, right, imagine that your power animal is right beside you. I'm going to borrow Poe for a minute until she moves. I said, put your hand where its back would be or where its body would be. Yeah, so far off the ground this far. And he's kind of like this. And he's moving his hand like that. I said, so what's on the body? Is it scales? Is his arm? It's like definitely was going one way, or hair or fur. He said, oh, it's hair. I said, oh, okay. And I said, is one end the front and one end the back? He said, yeah, yeah. I said, which end does it have a tail? And we started like this, and we go through all the details, and he found a tail, and he found a head, and I said, what kind of, does it have ears? Do they stick up? Are they flat? And he was telling me all about this. And I said, so what kind of animal would you imagine has 4 legs, a tail is about yay high, hair, long neck? And he said, well, it's a horse, isn't it? Of course. I said, oh, is it? He said, yes, of course it's a horse. And he couldn't, until he felt it, until he journeyed standing up, he couldn't find it. The next guy I asked, well, actually, he did see it, he just discounted it. He journeyed to the lower world. And I said, so there was nothing there at all? He said, no, nothing. I said, absolutely nothing. He said, no, only a unicorn. Your power animal is a unicorn. He goes, is it? So it's like they say, sometimes you need someone to help you with the journey because what you find, you might discount. It might seem to be too much. So when you're ready, stand up. We are going to journey, and there are different ways of doing this. Okay. And I use different ways of doing it with different people. So we may have done it differently in the past. We're going to journey for 2 things, a power animal and the soul part. And the power animal's job, some people work with the same power animals over and over and over. Some build such a lovely relationship with them that they work with them for years, maybe the whole lifetime. What I want you to think is that the main purpose, the reason why this power animal volunteers to appear to you is that it wants to lend you its power or its medicine to help you to make a connection with the soul part and to understand what the soul part needs from you in order for it to have a place in your life. So although you'll find the soul part and you'll find the power animal because they're going to come to you, you don't have to go looking for them. They're going to come to you. The soul part may need something, a commitment, something for you to do. Make time, make space. And the power animal will lend you its qualities to help you with that. So open your Viracocha over yourself. And I open mine over all of you. It's thirsty work, all this talking. Just follow the sound of my voice and the sound of the drum. Just put this on, think, maybe click this, you might not hear. Is that better? Okay, thank you. Told you I need an assistant. I'm the first person to acknowledge I can't do everything as well on my own. Follow the drum, follow my voice. We begin our journey lying on the ground on a warm sunny day in a beautiful field. And as you lie on the ground, perhaps you hear the sound of birds singing, or hear the whisper of the wind in the trees. Or smell the flowers that even the grasses. And leaving your physical body resting on the earth, safe and cared for, you let your luminous body stand up. You take a look around. And towards the edge of the field, you see an ancient tree. Leaving your physical body resting where it is, you let your light body, your luminous body, walk across the field towards the ancient tree. As you get closer to it, you see how its roots spread out on the earth. And between the ancient roots, you see an opening into the earth. And you get down on your hands and knees. Don't move your body as you need to. And you crawl through the opening in the earth, and you go down into the earth along the roots of the ancient tree and past the roots of the ancient tree and through the stones and the rocks, the ancient rocks, until you find yourself in a cave. And in the cave you find a pool of water, so you step into it and then sit down and lie down and cleanse yourself with the water of everything that you do not consciously intend to bring with you from the middle world, the day-to-day world. And you stand up and you let the water drip off you, and you step out of the pool of water and you cross to the other side of the cave where you see a small stream. You step into the stream and sit down and lie down, and you let the water carry you down towards the lower world, the domain of souls, the Uku Pacha, splashing over you a little as it carries you down deeper and deeper. Water begins to slow down and then to stop, and you sit up you stand up and you step out of the stream and onto the land. Taking a look around, you see an ancient rock. You go and stand beside this rock and lean against it and feel the warmth of the rock against your body, its strength, its solidness. And you call to the keeper of the lower worlds, the guardian of this domain. I know them by the name of Huasca. To you, perhaps they have a different name. Or you might just call guardian of the lower world, keeper of the lower world. I come to introduce myself. Please come to me, meet with me. And immediately you see a figure approaching. And they come and they stand beside you. And you take a few moments. Take in all their details. And in your own way, you introduce yourself with your name and explain who you are and why you are here, that you have come as part of a healing journey to reconnect with parts of yourself, parts of your sacred essence that you understand by name to be soul parts. And as you speak, you look into their eyes and you see from their expression their complete understanding of what you are saying. And they extend one of their arms. And as you follow the direction that they point, you see just a little way ahead of you an ancient stone altar, a simple altar of flat rock. You nod in understanding and you begin to walk to the ancient rock, the flat rock, the ancient altar. Getting closer, you see that there is something resting on top of it. As you reach the altar, standing right beside it, you see this object, this item, the soul part, in its fullest form. Reaching out towards it and allowing it to be exactly the right size that you need it to be to fit comfortably between your hands. You pick it up, hold it in your hands. Perhaps you turn it over and look at it and feel its surface, its texture, its weight. This is an object, a soul part, in its object form that has symbolic significance. Its purpose, its value, its use to you is something that you will have to explore and understand by getting to know it. But you pick it up, hold it in your hands, and bring it with you as you turn and walk back to the ancient rock where you began this part of your journey, and the keeper of the lower world is waiting for you. Arriving at the ancient rock, you see that the keeper is waiting, and you thank them for guiding you to find your soul part and making this process so simple and easy. And as you look to your left side, you see an animal animal this is. For you can see it, but not me. It may be a bird, a mammal, a reptile, fish, marine in nature, avian in nature. It might even be of mythological origin. Sometimes there may be more than one that comes, or many of the same kind. But know that the one for you is the one that you saw first. Once again, allowing it to become the size that you need it to be, to hold between your hands. You reach out and you take it, and you bring it towards yourself. Feeling its weight, noting its size, looking at the different sides of it, taking in the different details. What is its body covered in? Does it have wings or legs, fur or fins, flesh or feathers? And holding your soul part and your power animal close to you, you thank the keeper of the lower world, and bringing them with you, you say farewell to the keeper of the Ukupacha domain of souls. You take your soul part and your power animal, and you walk back to the little stream, and you lie down in the water, and you allow the water to carry you upwards and away from the lower world, up and towards the cave. As the water in the stream reaches the cave, it slows down and stops, and you sit up and you stand up and you step out of the stream, bringing your soul part and power animal with you. And you walk back to the pool of water on the other side of the cave. You step into it and sit down and lie down, and for a moment allow the water to wash over you, so that you cleanse yourself of anything that you are not consciously intending to bring with you from the lower world. And you stand up, bringing your soul part and power animal with you, and you travel upwards through the roof of the cave, through the stones and the ancient rocks and the earth, and past the tips of the roots of the ancient tree, and along the roots, and up through the earth until you emerge between the roots, and you crawl out through the space between the roots, and you stand up, and you walk back across the field to the place where you began the journey. And when you reach the place when you began, you lie down. And you allow your physical body and your light body, all that you are, to become one in one place once again. And you take a couple of breaths feeling how your body moves as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And moving your arms, opening your hands, you reach into the space around you, remembering how your power animal felt. And you place your hands on your power animal, holding it between your two hands. And you bring it to the level of one of your chakras, the base of the spine, the belly, the solar plexus, heart, throat, forehead, or crown, as you choose. Just hold it there for a moment and feel the resonance. Feel the interaction between the energy of the power animal and your energy body. And then bring the power animal in close to your body with your hands, bringing the power animal and its energy in through your chakra, the one you have chosen. Resting your hands on your body, anchoring it there. And just notice what you notice. Notice how you feel until you feel ready. And then you reach out once again, this time taking hold of the soul part, remembering its form, remembering its size, remembering how it felt when you first hold it. And bring it into the same or a different chakra if you choose, holding it in front of your body, and just feel what you feel, experiencing the interaction between the energy of the soul part and the energy of your own body. And then bring the soul part in through the chakra by bringing your hands close to your body and resting your hands on your body, allowing the energy of the soul part of your sacred essence, your energy, returning to you to become part of you again. Breathing easily. And then, when you're ready, tuck your fingers down underneath the lower edge of your Viracocha, lift it up and bring it back to the space that it likes to live within, above the top of your head. So I'm just offering the opportunity to unmute your microphone if you wish. If there's anything you want to share, you're welcome to leave your microphone switched off if you want, or open it, and we just see how it goes. If there's something you want to share about how you're doing, what you found. What I'm going to do is put some simple excuse me, guidance notes into the resource page, if I haven't done already, to help to support you to build a relationship with these new aspects of yourself. But essentially, the simplest way to do this is to find an object of some kind that for you resembles what you found. So I'm just looking around me. One of the first thing I found is my rattle. Okay, so let's imagine that I found a ball or a globe, something that looks like a planet. Well, maybe I don't have anything exactly that colour or planet-like, but I find something that's round, and I think that feels like it could do the job for me. Yep. So whatever you find, same colour, similar texture, as long as you know it makes sense for you and will hold the vibration that you anchor within it, you take whatever object it is that you choose and you hold in your mind for the soul part or the power animal, whichever one this will represent, what you saw, what you felt, and you blow into the object that you hold, so that for you it becomes this very object. And you do the same for the soul part with something, the same for the power animal. And then each day you spend a few minutes connecting with them, having a little conversation. The sort of questions that it's useful to ask in the beginning would be things for the power animal. Power animal, what is your special medicine, your special gift to help me to connect with the soul part? Okay, and in the beginning, it might not be, if it's not what you expect, that's brilliant. But you might not know how to put all the bits of information together. So over a period of days, and you could do this, you get most of the information over 28 days, a lunar cycle. Find out what it has to tell you. Every time it tells you something, it gives you a bit more information. With the soul part, you might ask questions like, what do you need from me? How may I make space for you in my life? How may I honor you? And when you get an answer, write them down. Write your questions down the answers. And you might think, well, how can I do what it is the soul part is asking of me? So you ask the power animal, how can you help me to do this, whatever it is, for the soul part? And see what the answers come up with. And you begin to get an idea of what might be required and what resources are there to help you, so that you can make a commitment to yourself by negotiating with the soul part. And this commitment becomes a new kind of contract, not one that's imposed on you, but one that you create for yourself, so that you can bring more and more fully into your life these new resources, connecting with these new parts of yourself that allow you to align with a different destiny, a different future. Okay, so if there's something you want to ask, please do jump in.
Joe, may I ask, please?
Deborah, hi.
Hello, Joe. That was different. I've never done a song hot one before. I had a car actually going to me, which confused me.
I'm missing a little bit of what you're saying, sorry, Deborah. Can you just say it again? What was it that confused you?
Because I had an organ going down.
Can anyone hear Deborah better than me? Is the sound the sound is cutting out a little bit.
I just suggest if anyone else has the mic on, can they just shut it off so it can maybe stop the echo?
Yeah, so you can switch your microphones on and off now. If you're not speaking at the moment, pop your microphone off. Try again, Deborah.
Okay. Going down.
Yeah.
I had an organ with me.
Yeah.
And I've never had that happen before.
Okay. What do you understand the orb to be?
No predators.
No predators.
Mm.
Is the orb something separate to the soul part?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I ask because sometimes power animals and soul parts, they start to show up in our consciousness and make a connection before we get down into the lower world. And then people say, when I got down there it was, but it was, bigger or brighter or something. Yeah, so maybe something shows up to go with you. I don't know if you have a kind of story for yourself in your life about predators, and maybe this would help to support you, so you knew it was safe to make the journey.
That makes sense.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. This is one of the things about journeying, is that every journey is different, and every person's journey is different. Anyone else want to share anything or to ask anything? Remember to switch your microphone on if you do. And if you finish for the moment, Deborah, yeah, thank you. You read my mind. No questions? Nothing at all? You can always write to me later. Okay, so I have something. Thank you, Sophia. Beautiful. You had a beautiful journey which was intense. Yeah. Okay. Matula, deeply touched by yours. Oh yes, you cannot speak because of Sleeping Beauty. This isn't a mythological workshop, but well, it is, I suppose. I understand you're talking about Irida, your daughter. Okay.
Joe.
Yes, Anne. Hi.
Hi.
I
As soon as I got to the lower world, I met with my power animal.
As soon as you got there,
Yeah.
they can be really enthusiastic. You know, they want you to choose them. They don't want to be missed out. They really want to come on board and help. May I ask what your power animal was in this event?
Black Panther.
A Black Panther. Oh.
Mm. So there was no guardian. He was there straight away. So I couldn't see any other power animal after that.
Okay. Yeah, well.
And then my soul part was the clear quartz.
A quartz.
Yeah.
Okay. So the recipe is to interact with them, knowing that they will interact together. I'm quite fond of my version of the Keeper of the Lower World. And they seem to have a sense of humour, which of course is not surprising, as it's my version of the Keeper of the Lower World. Other people might not think that they have a sense of humour if I told you what mine does, but that's because everyone's sense of humour is different. The purpose of the Keeper of the World is to maintain balance. The same for the Keeper of the Middle World and the Keeper of the Upper World, and they help to guide us on our journey. So today's journey was very straightforward, and maybe they knew that you didn't need them to be visible, Or there may be, when you talk with your panther, there may be something in their medicine or the reason why they showed up straight away in the way they did that has significance for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I've
I've started journeying, and I've met with the black panther before, but this was the quickest.
Okay. Is it often the black panther that shows up for you, or you have different experiences?
No, I've had a few different ones, but I find it quite difficult when I go down there to find them. But today it was just straight away.
Then were you standing up or sitting or lying down?
I was lying down.
Okay. It can make an incredible difference to stand up and just kind of move your feet as if you're walking across the territory, across the terrain.
Okay.
So just as a suggestion, if you want to, you might give that a try.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing how other details suddenly just become real. You can also use the journey, just follow the map and go down, just go and have a little look around. See what else might be there. What kind of things grow there? Maybe there's little rivers or bridges you can cross and the terrain on the other side might be a little bit different. And use the anchor points. The anchor points on the journey. There's a starting place in the field. There's an ancient tree that allows you to access the path to the lower world. There is the cave midway with the water that's cleansing. So consciously, you take nothing with you that you don't intend, and you bring nothing back other than what you do intend. There is a keeper. There is the ancient rock. So all of these places are anchor points on the journey to help you to easily find your way to where you're going and then to easily find your way back. So when you come back to the day-to-day, you don't feel like you're still somewhere else, or if you do shadow work journeys, then you can leave the shadow stuff behind. Leave it where it belongs, like where it likes to live. Go and visit it to find out more. It's perfectly happy where it is, but you don't want to be coming back and to have so many other things on your mind that it feels like you're doing all your shadow work or your persona work or whatever work it is all at the same time.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you, Anne. And Elena, can't talk. I'm at work. It was different for me this time. Journey was similar. My power animal is a dinosaur. Oh, what kind of dinosaur, I wonder? Maybe you have to ask it what kind of dinosaur it is. Some kind of carnivore, then it changed to big, massive plant eater. And he wanted to go to my root. Yeah. So when you bring these gifts into your root chakra, from roots, everything grows. So the relationship deepens over time, and the gift becomes something that can inform every aspect of your growth, every part of you. Any more? Maybe we have. Does anyone has one more before we come to the end of our ceremony and close sacred space? No? You can always write to me if you have an interesting question or something you want to share. I'll look forward to that. So, it has been my absolute joy and pleasure to be here and to sit with you each evening and to share these beautiful rites. If you want to do more in person, there's a few links on the page on the website. Lots of things that I offer. And no pressure to come and do other things. This is what we came together to do. But I do work one-to-one with people for all sorts of life issues and other life issues. I was messaging with a lady today who was telling me that she feels there's someone in her life that she has a past life connection with and can't quite shake off that feeling. That's an interesting one. I have a workshop in the autumn, in person, here at Wood End, where you receive in person and you learn how to give all of these rites. So that's in the Munai Ki style. This Saturday, if you really can't end the week without doing more, this Saturday we have a lovely day. It's empowering and relaxing. You get to learn lots of different practices and techniques to help to maintain your energy body and the outer edge, building resilience to keep out other energies that you feel are intrusive, but also to build your energy up and raise your vibration from the inside. You learn how to do them, but just the experience, I think, of being here and going through all on the day is going to be transforming for people. It's a small group, so there's always room for more. If you want to come, just let me know. I'll send you the details. And all sorts of other things. Short workshops, longer ones, depending on what takes your fancy. But thank you all once again. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure. So, sitting or standing, as you choose. Let's close sacred space for our journey. Turning to face the south. To the winds of the south, Sachamama, Hatanamara, Mother of the waters, source of all life, we thank you, thank you, thank you, great Mother Serpent, for taking us on this beautiful healing journey together, helping us to see clearly through your eyes and to shed our past just as you shed your skin where it no longer helps us grow. Go in peace and love. Ho! And turning to the west. To the winds of the west, Mother, Sister Jaguar, Otorongo, Chocochinchay, Rainbow Jaguar, you have seen the birth and death of galaxies. Thank you for walking with us, and we've stepped between the worlds and travelled over the Rainbow Bridge, and we have journeyed into the lower world to make peace with our shadows. Thank you for helping us to be peaceful warriors, rainbow warriors, with no need to make war with the world within ourselves or the world around us. Go in peace and beauty. Ho! Turning to the north. To the winds of the north, Siwakinti, Hummingbird, Colibri, you who are the great journeyer. We thank you, thank you, thank you for taking us under your tiny wings and setting us on the path of change and evolution and growth, helping us to hold the balance between stillness and motion in all that we do. Grandmothers, grandfathers, ancient ones, all of you who have stepped outside of the cycle of time into the timeless and ever-present now. We thank you for warming your hands on the fires of our hearts and whispering to us across the winds. And you who have yet to come, our children's children, go in peace and love. Ho! And to the east. To the winds of the east, Apuchin, Condor, Spirit of the high mountains, the Apukunas. We thank you for lifting us up on your back, so that as you stepped into the sky, we could see that just like you, we too fly wingtip to wingtip with great spirit, that we are soul beings having a human experience. And as we sow the seeds for the future, we create from the new. Go in peace and love. Ho! And on the earth. Pachamama. We thank you, Mother, for helping us to come together, bringing us together, answering your call. We came in honor for you, for ourselves, for all of our relations, for those who could come and for those who could not. The no-legged and creepy crawlers, the two-legged, four-legged and many-legged, the furred, the finned, the feathered ones, the stone people, plant people, the whales and the dolphins and the standing people, the trees. We thank you, Mother, for helping us to walk with hands that are open to receive the great abundance available to us and to share with gratitude all things in all ways. Go in peace and beauty. Ho! To everything that is above us. Inti Taitai, Father Sun, Mama Kilia, Grandmother Moon, Hatun Chaskakuna, star brothers and sisters of the great star nations. we thank you for watching over us and guiding us as always, and reminding us that we're not alone, that we are part of a great and cosmic order of all beings and all things, as above, so below. And Great Spirit, you who we know by 1,000 names, you who we know as the unnameable but see reflected in everyone and everything around us and within us, we thank you for bringing us together so we can sing the song of life, love, joy, laughter, and freedom together one more day. Ho! And again, just before we close, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who has shared the rites with me all the way through this week. Most are here tonight. Alex, Sophia, Matula, who else is here? Lisa. And those who couldn't be here tonight would have been here other nights. So, and apologies if I'm looking at the screen and I've missed someone. You're here in my heart, even if you're not on my mind. So, go in peace and love, and until the next time we meet, Tu Painanchis Kama. Bless you all.